Welcome to another episode of the Alamo City Sportscast. You're joining us. We're joining you from beautiful West San Antonio. This is the Puro Exit 7 edition, man. I think we just lost Dryer, dude, for some reason,
I'm
man.
on here.
Oh, you're black, dude. The screen is black on your side.
Let me see.
Sometimes I had to pop out and pop in.
Yeah, maybe you pop out and come back in, Dyer. I'm gonna
Alright.
have you on stream for now. Yeah, so come back out. There you go. We'll bring him back in here. But this is the Puro Exit 7 edition. We have all the Necios in the house right now. We are -1, Mike Jimenez, who is going through the TSA right now. I don't know he's gonna make it, dude.
You better be careful, bro. We might have to send for him, bro. We might have to send some help for that man.
I don't know. Maybe Leja put una bolsita inside his luggage, dude.
Hell yeah.
Say, what is this, sir? Saca la bolsita. So
Yeah, you
we're
never
gonna
know, bro.
Yeah, so on this episode here, we're going to start getting into talking about, boxing. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about the Cowboys. We're going to talk a little bit about local sports. We're going to talk about the Brahmas, talk about the Gunslingers, Missions, SAFC. We'll get into some of the NBA playoff, news here, kind of the results. We lost him again, dude. I don't know what the hell's going on. We might have to just have him no camera or something, dude. So let's go ahead and start getting into this, man. We went ahead and all of us saw the Haney Garcia fight over the weekend, dude. And I got to tell you, man, it was interesting, man. This Haney Garcia fight was interesting, dude. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. We're going to talk about how Garcia went ahead and won $12 million by betting $2 million on himself. I mean, what do you think about that, man? We'll start with John here. John, what were your thoughts on the Haney Garcia fight? Did it surprise you, man?
Oh, definitely. And I mean, it surprised everybody. As a matter of fact, I started looking at when you go on Instagram, you look at reels of a certain subject. All these prediction podcasts and TV shows were talking about how Ryan Garcia had no chance because his mental capacity. I think I saw Timothy Bradley say he's going to give up broadcasting if Garcia wins. Yeah. So, I mean, anyone that says, "Oh, I knew it," I mean, you didn't know it. I feel like he trolled us all with all the social media stuff, which is great. I mean, he's an evil genius. What can I say? As far as the fight itself, it's funny how much power he has. Because Haney kept calling him a one-trick pony. And that one trick, it wasn't just a lucky punch, because he did it all night. Knocked him down 3 times. Probably 4 times, if the ref was being honest. But the fact that Garcia could be all over the place, not even make weight, to the point where you think to yourself, okay, this guy's not... I mean, even Haney had said in an interview, I don't think he's taking this fight serious. And he tricked us all. He put out a performance of his career.
Yeah, so the thing with Garcia, man, is that Garcia is a showman, dude. He's going to do what he can do to get the attention on him and get that attention
Did a great job
from Haney. Beautiful, masterful.
Did a great job.
You're in doing that, and showmanship, But at the end of the day, the one thing that kind of pisses you off if you're a purist of boxing is to come in overweight. It's disrespectful to the man. Because the stupid thing is, if Garcia had won this fight and he had made weight, he'd be walking out of that ring with the belt. The thing is, he won the fight, but Haney still won that war because Haney, he retained his belt even though he lost the fight. He's still the champ. Ryan Garcia only won the fight. He didn't win the war, So it's they're going to run it back again. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, but if they run it back again, he's the A side. He's the clear A side. And I think, and I wanted to ask Richard about this because before the fight, a couple of days before, my 11-year-old asked me about the fight. Hey, you want to watch Ryan Garcia fight? And then on the Friday before, my wife, are you going to watch Ryan Garcia? He sells himself. He might be the biggest star in boxing because one, he won a big fight. I'm not saying the best boxer. He might be the biggest star. He's got the social media influence. He's crazy. And he won and he's exciting to watch. It'd be one thing if he Floyd Mayweather wasn't the most exciting. He's the best, but Garcia was in a big fight and he dropped his opponent 3 times. Like that's fun to watch. He puts himself out there. He's made himself a star. And after whenever someone wins a big fight, your profile goes up. He had already put his profile, being infamous, but then you add to the fact that he wins, and he wins going away. There's no controversy. If anything, people thought he got robbed of a few points. Uh, he might be the biggest star. I mean, Canelo's the biggest star, but the talk of Canelo now with Benavidez and not fighting him, and the fact that Ryan Garcia is much more than just a boxer. He's an influencer. He's everything, and uh, he might be the biggest star in boxing.
Yeah. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, man, I'll tell you, there's a lot, man, and Dyer hit it on the head. But I will say, because I heard, I kind of disagree with you a little, Joe, as far as I know what you're saying, and I hear you as far as like the belts and stuff. But in this state, yeah, I mean, it would have been great. It would have been an icing on the cake for Ryan to win the belts. Yeah. But just because a sanctioned organization says you have a belt, that doesn't mean you're a champion. I mean, at the end of the day, Devin. Yeah, the organization says he has a belt, but he didn't walk out of there a champion, man. You know what I mean? He got beat down, bro. And and so at the end of the day, I think Ryan, when you talk about mega stars, when you talk about the De La Hoyas, the Pacquiaos, the Tysons, the Alis, the Sugar Ray Leonard, there's always a crossover appeal, right? There has to be. I mean, there's diehard boxing fans, and they're always going to be diehard boxing fans like us, and we're always going to get the fights and all that. But honestly, what keeps it irrelevant is the casuals. I mean, and we joke about casual fans and all that, but in reality, it's true though. Like you said, if you're an 11-year-old kid that doesn't know anything about boxing, but you know who Ryan Garcia is, and you're telling your parents like, "Hey, I want to see this," like that sells. Yeah, that sells, right? Women and that don't know a lot about boxing, and there's a lot that do know. So don't get. I'm not saying that women, but someone a guy that knows nothing about boxing, but he's like, man, I know about Ryan because I've seen all those antics I want to watch. That is a crossover appeal. So the star power is there to be a mega star, and you have the social media influence following. You have obviously the boxing fans following. And I agree with Dyer. Like Ryan is not the best fighter, but he's the most exciting. He brings new fans. He's flawed enough to where you're like, man, he might lose, he might win. You know what I mean? It's exciting. It's fun. And I'll tell you, I guess we could say infamously, I actually thought this was going to be a similar thing with the Tank fight. I know that sounds crazy, and people told me I was crazy, and I lost admittedly, I lost $500 on Ryan versus Tank because I just kind of had a gut feeling that I thought Ryan could do something like this. Unfortunately, he did it for Devin and not Tank, so I got it wrong. But I mean, I'm telling you, man, that left hook is just magical, and he's just twitchy speed and fast. I also think it's a testament to Haney. Maybe we kind of overrated him a little bit as far as, and I don't want to be like a revisionist. It's always easy to look back and say, oh, well, Haney wasn't really that good after all. And that's not fair. That's not fair to Ryan. I mean, at the end of the day, Ryan beat him fair and square. Like you said, at Harvey, I'll tell you, it's funny because I was telling the people that were at my house watching the fight, I was like, oh, Harvey Dock is one of the best refs. Because he is like Harvey Dock has become one of the over the years of boxing, and Dyer and Joe, y'all know this. You see the refs that become up, Richard Steele's and Mills Lanes, where they start becoming the main guys that always get the big fights. And Harvey Dock is becoming one of those refs where he's constantly in the biggest fights ever. And I've never seen him have a bad night. He had a bad night. He had a bad night that night. I don't know what he was doing. There was a couple of knockdowns he could have called. Yeah, he looked like he was giving Haney a lot of time to recover. I mean, we could get into it more later, but that's a whole nother nuance. This whole night was filled with a bunch of subplots. Like you had the ref stuff going on. You had the Ryan missing weight. Obviously all this kind of stuff. I'll tell you what, Derek James to me in the corner of Ryan was another X factor. He was giving sound advice to Ryan. It wasn't like, go out there and throw more punches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on, like no shit. I could do that. Yeah. Like I could tell you that. Yeah, exactly. My son can tell you that, dog. Like, but he was giving him sound advice in the corner if you watch it. And there was even one round, I want to say around the 11th, when Ryan is like playing to the crowd and all this, and Derek like sits him down, like, hey, stop. Like fucking focus. Like, So to me, that's another X factor is Derek James in the corner, who is, famously Errol Spence's trainer, Frank Martin's, a bunch of talented fighter.
What did you think? The thing is, the chink in Ryan Garcia's armor there is that stupid roll that he does with the body when he tries
Oh yeah,
It didn't
yeah,
work.
bro.
yeah.
He's gonna fuck
Yeah.
around and find out with the wrong fighter. The
Yeah.
words on the street though, he's been calling out Ennis, Boots Ennis.
Yeah, Boots.
Hey,
Ooh,
he's
yeah.
a different fighter, bro. He's a
Yeah.
different fighter. You show him that backside,
Mhm.
he's gonna get you
Yeah.
that liver shot, bro. He's gonna work you, and he's gonna drop you like Tank did. You can't be
The
doing
crazy
that.
thing, the crazy
Oh,
thing
here,
about
let me get Mike
Garcia.
on here because he's at the airport right now.
Uh-oh.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, brother? What's going
Hey,
on,
man.
John? What's going on, Rick?
What's up, man?
How have y'all been? Greetings from the San Antonio International Airport, my man. Glad to be on for a segment.
Yeah, so let's get your thoughts real quick, man. What did you think about the Haney Garcia fight? Because I know you were watching it on TikTok live.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm glad that I watched it on TikTok and not on pay-per-view, because before the fight started, as the fight was starting, the lights went out in my neighborhood. So everyone was all complaining on the neighborhood's Facebook page about how they couldn't watch the fight and all that stuff, that they had paid $70 for it and all that stuff. No, but I did watch it on TikTok. I thought Garcia was gonna knock him out in the first 30 seconds. My God, that left.
And then I thought he gassed
was
himself.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was funny. It was a funny fight, man, because you knock that guy down 3 or 4 times. Haney hits the canvas 3 or 4 times, but every other round, Haney was winning. It was weird.
Yes,
It was a weird fight.
absolutely,
But,
absolutely, and that's why the scores were the way they are. We could talk about that later, but I'm telling you, man, I know a lot of people are outraged on the scores. It's not that outrageous if you look at it frame by frame and say the big rounds that Haney or that Devin or that Ryan won were big for Ryan. The in between rounds where not a lot was happening was Devin's rounds. So,
yeah. No, but it was a fun fight. It was an exciting fight. It was also one that was kind of surprising because, who would have thought? He was plus 550, dude. He was plus 550 to win that fight.
Somebody made out in Vegas. I'll tell you what, man.
He did.
Somebody made out in Vegas. Well, he did too, yeah. But he better. But I'm saying others made out in Vegas, man. I'm jealous.
Hey, somebody put out here Mario Cavazos, dude. He had me laughing. The best fight of the weekend was the suciest fight at Market Square.
Facts. That's big facts.
I don't know if you all saw that, man.
They were fighting over Jimenez.
Rumor
They heard about that W2 and they want a piece of that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm at the airport. Maybe got to expand those W2s and 10 out of
Nice.
No.
There you go.
on my way to Charlotte, North Carolina, man. So I'll be there for a few days.
Yeah.
Say hi to Ric Flair for us, man.
Yeah. You
Nice.
get a little woo. Oh, we lost Jimenez.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
The
TSA got it, bro.
He's getting tased by TSA.
Yeah. TSA.
Oh,
They heard about him. Oh,
Dude, have you ever had that special pat down by TSA before?
Oh,
I
yeah.
had it 4 times. Like grab my junk.
Well, you paid extra for that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. He volunteered. He volunteered. He wanted.
It was
Yeah,
the
he volunteered.
panza, bro. It was the panza.
Take me to jail. Throw away the keys.
Yeah. No, stop, please, stop taking me.
Yeah,
Please.
well, two times it was a lady, so it is what it is. You take what you can get.
You think?
Oh man, that's the most action Mike's had over in the last couple months, man.
Dang.
TSA.
She grazing it with the back of the hand.
Chills. You got a little chill. Ooh.
Buy me dinner first.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Wait till you go sit down, dude, and you're just chilling, and they have the freaking dogs come by your backpack. Even if you don't got nothing in there, you'd be like,
If he's
you're
able to sit
McDonald's.
down.
Oh shit! I hope this dog don't come over here.
Now, that's never happened to you guys? You never been taken out to
No.
the side and have the special pat down? Dude, it happens to
The
me all the
closest-
time, man.
The closest
Now,
thing
one
to
time-
that was
one
in
time I
2007. I was flying out of
Yeah.
Dallas and I had a Spurs shirt on, and they got me out of Love Field.
Damn it, dude. Mike's piercing shows up in the X-ray. Man, they clowning you, Mike, in the chat, dude.
Here,
Well,
we
one
took-
time,
we took-
one.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, where's that piercing at?
Whoa, Joe. He'll tell you that when we're off air.
Come
Maybe
over
next
here,
week's
sir. Can you
podcast.
step out of line, please? Damn it, man.
Sith coming at us with Mike. quote, does that count as the Mile High Club? Nice.
Oh my God,
That's a
man.
great comment. That's a great comment.
That is.
Yeah. So, the other words though, you like the Haney Garcia fight, because I know you don't really watch a lot of boxing. You know, it's really
I
not
watch the
a lot
big
of,
fights.
yeah.
That's
I
the big
watch the
fights.
big fights. I like the big fights. I'm not going to get all down with the 4th, 5th, and 6th contender of each weight class.
Hey man, that's where some of the magic happens, Mike.
Well, I mean, I like the big fights. Back in the day, the Pacquiao fights, the De La Hoya fights, the what's it called? All the big fights back in the day. Even going back to back in the day, man. I mean, I used to be big into Sugar Ray Leonard and Hitman Hearns and all that stuff. I used to love it. But it became a little bit too much. And like I said, I don't dive deep into the 4th, 5th, and 6th contender. But you give me a good title fight, I'll watch it. I'll make more than enough time for it.
Did you put any money on the fight?
Nah.
Did not. No.
No,
But
man.
Rick was trying to take some bets on Twitter, man. You lucked out.
I know. I'm glad I didn't get him. I tell you what, man. Ray Jackson, man, famous boxing Twitter guy. I famously called him out and said, "Hey, I'll put a K." I told him I'll put a grand on the fight. I'm glad he never responded. I'm glad he didn't respond.
Bro.
Yeah, that's what people are telling me. People are telling me, but
He's not a man of his word.
I'll tell you what, bro. I was fishing, bro. I really was, man. I was trying to
You
put
were
500, a K. I'm glad people didn't take me on it. I'll tell you that. But I had some little $50 action here and there. But I did get my 12th round in the pot of the night, so I want my money back. So
Hey, Jimenez, is Ryan Garcia the biggest boxer in the world? Not best, biggest star.
Wow. I would have no, not yet. He's getting there, but he does have the TikTok and Instagram down on lock, man. So I mean, maybe you can make that statement for those who are 30 and younger. That maybe that's the case.
Yeah.
I think Canelo's probably the bigger star, 35 and older. I
That's
think it's a
really
generational
good
thing.
yeah,
that's probably 100%
yeah.
accurate.
But he's knocking on the door though. Right? He's not definitely knocking on the door. But it's going back to like we talked about. He's bringing in other fans. Like you said, the social media, the younger crowd, and all that. And
I know
there's a crossover stuff.
A few people mentioned Logan Paul or Jake Paul in our comments. He's like Jake Paul, but a real boxer.
Yeah. No, that's true.
That is
true. He won a real big fight.
Yeah. Well, right. And that's what I was saying on Friday's show was people talk about Ryan about being like a YouTube fighter or a social media fighter, and I feel like he's embracing that and doing that. But you got to remember, man, this dude was 215 wins and 15 losses as an amateur. Like, yeah, he's like the dude's an accomplished fighter. Like, so you can't get it twisted. You can't get it twisted at all. He was a 15-time national champion, something like that. So what I'm saying is he has a pedigree of boxing in the amateurs and all that. So he wasn't just somebody who showed up and said, "Oh, I'm going to do this for YouTube." I think he's smart enough to say, "Hey, why not embrace that?" Right? This generation of social media, of influencers, and all that. So he's kind of a cross between a Paul and an actual boxer come to life. So I mean, the young crowd's gonna love it. I don't mind it. I love it. And hey, it's fun, man. It brings excitement to the fights. And again, he could fight too, though. That's the thing. At the end of the day, he could. If you talk all this stuff and don't produce, then it doesn't matter. But he could fight.
Well, when you can blend together the skills with the craziness, when they intersect, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Before this fight, don't be wrong, he was an accomplished fighter. He had done a lot, but he'd also dodged a couple of people along the way, and so that was the knock on him, that he was more crazy. He was like that crazy hot matrix when it comes to women. He was more crazy than he was hot.
Than he's worth. Than what he's worth. Yeah, more crazy than what you're worth. Yeah.
But this past weekend, they intersected. Where it's like, okay, we'll accept the crazy if you're going to be this good of a fighter out there. The crazy thing about it is that before the fight, weighing in 3 pounds heavy, then drinking a beer thereafter, kind of disrespectful when it comes to that, and then meeting with Mike Tyson before the fight as well. Mike Tyson wearing a King Ryan T-shirt the following day after the win. He's going down that crazy route, man. And I got to ask you a question: do you think it's an act, or do you think it's him on drugs?
It has to be a little bit. It has to be a little bit of an act, because you can't just casually box and win. he had to have been focused on the fight because he put on a great performance. I think it's a little bit of an act. He's crazy like a fox because you can't just.
We have a
fake it.
comment reaching out to us. We have a comment on our YouTube stream asking the question: do you want to see a rematch with Gervonta Davis with Tank?
I think Garcia's too big now. He couldn't even make weight at 140. I think the discrepancy is too much now. Unless Tank, they'd have to.
Tank would have to come up. Tank, yeah. And that's another subplot for the Tank fight. You know that folks know is like, and I'm not trying to make excuses, but like Ryan was well weight drained for that Tank fight.
Yeah,
like, he really was. And you see the difference if you see Ryan during the Tank fight, just his physical appearance versus this past weekend, it's night and day, man. It's night and day. Ryan was very weight drained for that Tank fight. But yeah, I agree with Dyer, man. I think he's got to be a 147 now and above. He could go up 47, 54, and Tank would have to come up, in that weight, and it'd be interesting to see that. I mean,
that also speaks to Ryan not being crazy, but being crazy smart. Because when he missed weight for this fight, we all thought he was lazy, he wasn't focused, and he told us, he goes, "Hey, I'm not going to drain myself. I'm going to be at my peak position, physical."
Yeah.
And he was right. We thought that he was lazy. We thought, oh, he's drinking a beer. He's not focused. No, he was fighting at his ideal weight, and he looked great, to Richard's point.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's going to eventually turn into that Key and Peele character. He's going to turn into that Key and Peele character, the one he's like, and when you meet your maker, all that stuff. He's gonna go crazy, man. That's gonna be fun to watch, though. We need that's what's exciting about boxing, is when you have that name and you have an exciting fight, dude. I used to hate watching Floyd Mayweather Jr. fight. I understand the science behind it all. I understand the greatness behind it all. But there was not one Floyd Mayweather fight that I ever saw that was worth a damn. They all sucked.
Well, there's a reason why. There's a reason why Mike Tyson's so famous to this day, because he was crazy, but he was fun to watch.
Right.
Like, he's still super famous. Like, my kids know who Mike Tyson is. Mike
got
Tyson's
that
about to fight.
man.
Yeah, but it's there's a difference between. I mean, Holyfield was better than him, but Mike Tyson is still the more famous, beloved fighter.
Yeah, people remember
sometimes.
Yeah, people remember, the things
Knockouts.
like that, right? Like, yeah, they remember. Yeah, I mean, I even like in crossover sports, like one of my favorite documentaries is that Fab Five, that 30 for 30 Fab Five documentary, and they say something in there where they say, you know what, people don't remember who beat us in the national championships. People don't remember any of those. They remember us. You know what I mean? For all what went on, right? So it's kind of similar in different sports where you may not be the best, but like you said, Lennox Lewis, Holyfield, all these other fighters were way better than Tyson. And no disrespect to those fighters; those are great fighters. But your casual fan doesn't remember Lennox Lewis. You know what I mean? Doesn't remember some of these people. Yeah. Your casual person on the street, yeah, but they know who Mike Tyson is. So yeah, it's we, especially in America, love controversy. We love the just like, wow, this is like the reality show type things. So again, kudos to Ryan, man, because I agree with Dyer. I think he's combining the, like, I'm crazy and I'm doing whatever, but he's training. He's in the camp. He's with Derek. Again, I go back to Derek James, man. Listen, Derek James is one of the most accomplished trainers in the game. So, he's so it's like a guy that's like, oh, I don't really make a lot of money, but they're out there blowing a bunch of money, I'm trying to. It's like you're humbly. It's like a humble flex, kind of like, oh, I'm gonna drink, I'm gonna party, and I'm still gonna win. But he's really training and he's really taking it seriously. You know what I mean?
He tricked us all. He's crazy like a fox.
Again, man, it's smart.
No, let me ask you about the popularity of it all. Is the popularity of it all because he's Latino? How much does that have to weigh into it? Are we biased in a certain way because he's brown?
No, man. I think the Latino had nothing to do with it. This brother's got that charisma, man. He's
crazy.
He's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Look at his Instagram.
Charisma. He's crazy.
Go to his Instagram right now. He posted a video of him knocking down Haney, but he put Super Mario in there. So when he punches Haney, there's coins coming out. He has Mario jumping over him. Even like now, he's fun. He's a fun follow.
I will say, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I don't, and for me personally, and I didn't really see nobody really rally around him as like, oh, he's our raza, he's our guy.
Yeah.
I really didn't, and I because he doesn't really play that angle, to be honest. He doesn't speak Spanish. He doesn't, so it's not like a Chavez thing, and it's almost like a De La Hoya thing where some hardcore raza didn't take to De La Hoya. Oh, he's a pretty boy. Oh, he's singing, and he's it was the Fernando Vargas, right? It was we like the Vargases, we like the Warriors. So to me, I don't think a lot of people are getting behind Garcia as a race thing. Now that can be a thing about. I think.
Hey, we'll claim him now that he won.
Yeah, boxing is one of the most like racially divided sports.
Oh yeah.
Generally, the Mexicans go for the Mexicans, and the blacks go with the black, and the Jewish, Polish people. You don't got to wear jerseys when you know a Polish fighter is fighting an African American from Brooklyn. You see the crowds, but I mean that's an interesting point. As far as like, is it a raza thing? But
he hasn't even played into it yet.
But it could be. It could be now though. That wasn't the case before, but there's a
we'll claim him now.
I wasn't a fan of Ryan Garcia because he shunned me one time. I mean he big timed me one time on my old show. He was like I'll be on in 5 minutes. I'll be on with you in a few minutes. He did that for like 3 hours. He never jumped on the show.
He trolled you, Mike.
But Shane Mosley's son ended up jumping on instead. So. That's what it is.
I met him once in San Diego on a beach, and he was actually really cool. This was years ago, and he was really low key, really nice. This was again, I posted on my Twitter and I said, hey, this is before you went crazy. He was a really nice kid, and he was friendly. He talked to everybody. And I thought he went crazy seeing a lot of the antics, but looking back on it now, and then like looking at the way he's talking now on his Instagram and stuff, it does seem like he was just trolling. I mean, hey, crazy like a fox, man.
Yeah.
Jesse A reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, says the Mexican delegation don't claim him. He's up for a trade. We will take Sydney Sweeney in exchange. Sydney Sweeney this past weekend dancing to some mariachi music there in Mexico. I know that got Joe excited.
Hey, who had better dance moves, Sydney Sweeney or your girl Dua Lipa?
Or Devin Haney.
Dua's getting better, dude.
You know what Mike's gonna listen to on the plane, man? He's gonna listen to the new Taylor Swift album, dude, and he's gonna talk about it.
Oh
he's
yeah,
a big
I'm
Swiftie,
sure.
that's
I'm
right.
sure he's got it downloaded.
That'll be your whole flight.
I'm about 5 songs in. I like 4 of them. I hate one.
I ain't listened to one.
What did she? She released like 31 songs. I remember back in the day, like in the '90s when
it's a double CD.
Guns N' Roses came out with "Use Your Illusion" 1 and 2.
Yeah, double cassette.
Because I was like, that's 24 songs. This chick released 31, man. 31 songs. It's a little overload, man.
Yeah. All right, Mike. Well, we're gonna go ahead and let you go, man, because I know you're gonna have to board your flight soon here. So we'll go ahead and talk with you later, man. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see if we can get you on here maybe a couple more times if you have time throughout the week.
All right, man. Talk to y'all soon.
Hey, enjoy those in-flight Jack and Cokes, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Off the plane, bro. All right, Mike. See you. All right. So basically what we're going to do right now is we're going to go ahead and show on screen from CompuBoxing, they're going to show the punch stats. So when you're looking at the punch stats, you're going to look at, total punches thrown and landed, and they show Haney versus Garcia, jabs landed and thrown, Haney and Garcia. Of course, Haney was throwing the jabs all night, dude. You could all see that. He had the jab all night. He was going to be able to land it with, at will. No issues there. But the disparity here comes into the power punches landed and throw. That's where Garcia, you could tell the disparity there was in favor of Garcia. Garcia threw and landed more power punches. And the final punch stat report of the night, you're looking at total punches, body punches landed. And Haney, he was around 40.7%. Garcia was at 37.2%. Those were the body punches. Now, the total jabs, you got Haney besting Garcia, 49.4% versus Garcia at 20.4%. Power punches, though, this is where Garcia kind of made up the difference there. Haney, he was 34.9% for the night. Garcia was at 41.4%. At the end of the day, what do all these stats tell you as far as the punching? as far as the punches go. It says that Haney uh, 3 times outlanded. Well, Haney was nearly 2-1 in power shots, right? And
Yeah.
Garcia landed 41% of his power punches after Haney's previous 10 opponents landed only 25%. Haney landed 7 of 18 punches per round after landing 13 of 42 in his last 10 fights, in his previous 10 fights. Basically, what that tells us is that speed of Garcia really bothered Haney all night, man. Haney was having a hard time kind of trying to dial in on Garcia because he was having a hard time gauging that distance, having a hard time landing those punches, really getting at him, except for the jab. The jab was one thing that he was able to land at will. And the other thing is the body punches. That was more in favor of Haney, only because Ryan Garcia does that unorthodox kind of roll when he's trying to go ahead and guard, go on the defense, and he exposes his side, his rib cage and his back. That's dangerous in my opinion there. That's not one thing that you're going to want to do, especially if he's going to go up and he's going to fight another fighter, rumored right now to be Jaron Boots Ennis, at welterweight. And if he goes up against Ennis, man, that's going to be something that you don't want to do, because Ennis can go ahead and take advantage of that and he can put you on the mat. So Garcia has some things he has to work on as far as his fighting style. You got to change that a little bit. He's kind of a raw talent, in my opinion. Still, I mean, he's great at what he does. He's an accomplished fighter, no doubt. But there's still some things that he needs to kind of tweak in his boxing style. And one of those things is how he goes up, like I said, on that defense. Garcia, he's going to be the face of boxing right now. There is no doubt. He's got that. He's gravitated right now to the younger fan base. He's bringing them in. He's exciting to watch. He's fun to watch. He's fun to follow on social media. And no doubt he's going to be in the eye of the media. They're going to talk about him because, like, not only John, but yourself, Rick, you were saying he's one of these guys that's just outrageous. He's out there, dude. He's putting himself out there. His social media team, low key, they do a great job at what they're doing and getting that exposure for Garcia. So all around, Garcia is doing an amazing job of keeping his name out there, even after the fight, constantly going on social media, going on TikTok, going on Instagram. You cannot open up your social media without seeing something related to Ryan Garcia. So in that regards, the kid's a master, man, at that. That's his art. But when I just went ahead and read you these, power shots and all that, the shot totals, I mean, what stood out to you, Rick?
I'll tell you what, the score, the percentages and all that are not that far off. Like, again, you watch it and just with the naked eye, you're watching it and you're like, wow, yeah, Ryan is beating them to pillar to post. But the power or the punch stat numbers are not, well, I mean, even the power, it was what, 40 something to 34. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying it's not like 34% to 19%. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're relatively close, to be honest. What that says to me, and some people were outraged by the judge that had it 112. And we could talk about that if you want, but I actually am not, to be honest with you. And I'm telling you, the reason why was I was scoring it, and I do it. I do it as the rounds are going on my Twitter. You could see my score. I had it very similar because I thought, other than the big 10-8 rounds for Ryan, the low rounds, the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all that, were kind of Devin's just jabbing and boxing and that kind of stuff. So, and I was just talking to somebody about this this morning in my office about, because he was like, he's more of an MMA guy, and he was asking me about the scores, and I told him the problem with the scoring is other than the first round was a 10-9 round for Devin. For Ryan, right? He caught him, he rocked him, but he didn't drop him. But Devin did a dance and Devin was hurt or whatever, right? That's a 10-9 round for Ryan. The next round is a boring jab fest. It's weighted the same as that first 10-9 round. You see what I'm saying? That's what people don't understand when it comes to like scoring boxing. Like, and I'm not trying to insult people's intelligence. We're trying to act like I'm above thinking about this. I'm trying to explain why those scores are the way they are. It's like a big, cool 360 dunk and a layup. They're both worth 2 points. Neither one is weighted any more different than the other. Now, the dunk looks cool and looks awesome and everybody's excited about it, but the boring layup is still worth 2 points. So that's what happens when you come to the scores. The boring rounds that Devin was winning are not weighted any more than the Ryan rounds, except for the 10 8 knockdowns,
rounds,
and
he
one of
dropped
them was a 9-8 round because he got a point deducted during the knockdown round. So again,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make it more complicated, but it's a fact. That's a 9-8 round now. So now that basically becomes another 10-9 round in essence, because Harvey Dog took a point away
Yeah.
kind of fast, in my opinion, too, which that's another subplot. But so that's why I think you got the scores that you got. Because in reality, one of the other judges had a 115, 110. That sounds wide, but it's really 115 to 113 when you take away the knockdown rounds. So in reality, even 115 to 110, that's 7 rounds to 5. So that judge had 7 rounds for Ryan and 5 rounds for Devin, which 1 round swings the other way is a draw. So see what I'm saying? But it sounds a lot wider when it's 115, 110 because the 10-8 rounds knock down 3 points, making it from 115, 113 to 115, 110. Right? Dyer, I mean, am I off, Dyer, or not?
No, you're absolutely right.
You're right there.
And I think in a nutshell, that's what people always judge a fight at the end. But to your point, it's like football or any sport. Every quarter counts, but they count the same. You don't add to that score. So what I would tell people that are watching boxing, judge each round by itself. Oh, he's up by 3 rounds. He's up by 1. Or, that's the difference. Because when you look at the fight totality, you're like, oh, Ryan Garcia ran away with it because of the knockdowns. But again, he lost a bunch of those
The middle round.
boring rounds.
Yeah.
When I look at the stats, the one thing that stands out is that Garcia is a big junior welterweight. He doesn't use his reach with his jab at all.
Nope.
If he's taught a jab to set up his power punches, it's over for everybody else.
Yeah. There's still
He
some
doesn't jab.
mechanics he needs to add to his arsenal,
He doesn't jab, and if he learned how to set up his jabs or use his jab to set up a power punch, it'd be deadly.
One thing that I noticed with
Absolutely.
Garcia too is that Garcia doesn't use a lot of the angles like a lot of other boxers do. Because when you look at boxing, it's kind of like a chess match. And what boxers do is they fill each other out. First round, second round, they're trying to get that, let me see if I can get him with this reach. Let me get that timing down. Let me see what angle I can come in at. And then by the third round, you start seeing that chess match unfold. They start coming in at that angle. They start jabbing. Who's going to be the aggressor? Trying to get him for that, set him up for that combo, set him up for that left hook or that body punch, start giving him something different to look at. And with Ryan, he's, like I said, man, he's got that power, he's got that speed. But if he adds a little bit more of these fine-tuned mechanics to his arsenal, he can be a hell of a boxer, man. But right now, he's relying on that speed. He's relying on that power that he has in those punches. And that alone, that makes him dangerous. Even if they call him a one-trick pony, that one trick that he has is going to put your ass on the mat, So
and he was disciplined. He didn't take anything crazy. He just, in my opinion, he just needs a jab.
Yeah,
he wasn't as reckless.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I think if he used that jab to set up that left hook and jab off the hook, he'd be dangerous. And that's why, again, I was giving him a shot against Tank because I thought the reach and the size and the height advantage
he was a lot bigger
versus Tank is going to be different. So yeah, man, I agree. Ryan has these fundamental flaws where he doesn't use his jab and all that stuff, but he's and again, please don't jump all over me. I'm not saying he's Roy Jones, but he's Roy Jones-esque in the way that he's more of an athlete than a fundamental boxer, if that makes sense. And I feel that's how Roy used to fight, right? Roy was just Roy was a great fighter. What I'm saying is he fought a lot on his athleticism, his speed. So he was a really good athlete that was also a good boxer, kind of. There's some fighters they're not great athletes. They're just really good fundamental boxers. You see what I'm saying? So to me, I think Ryan is in that category of he's a good athlete. He's probably good at other sports, and he's an all-around athlete. In my opinion, that uses that twitchy speed and all that. But the problem with that is that goes over time, right? That won't sustain. What sustains you is there you go. Perfect example. Sergio Martinez. You have these examples of guys who are just really good athletes. That are more or rely more on skills, reflexes, and other athletic things than your normal jab, 1-2, fundamental 1, 2, 3. And again, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm not dogging nobody. I'm just trying to analyze how it comes off. Ryan isn't gonna be a Floyd and jab you and move and use angles and all that. Now, like you said, and I tell you what, he's with the right trainer to learn that stuff, though. I'm telling you, man. Derek James is a phenomenal trainer. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see what happens after this. Was it just one? And again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate. What if it was just a one Buster Douglas night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A night of like, man, I had the highest of high. I did everything right. I trolled everybody. And then Buster Douglas knocked out Tyson in Tokyo, and then he went and got dropped. He got killed by Holyfield in 3 rounds, and we never heard from him again, right? I'm just saying, I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm interested to see what happens next with Ryan. I mean, he needs to capitalize on this. He could be the face of boxing. Like I said, I hate to say I agree with Jimenez, but I kind of agree with him in that aspect of, obviously Canelo to me is still the face of boxing. I mean, Canelo, again, people are starting to sour on Canelo because, again, this is the tale as old as time. It happened to De La Hoya, it happened to Pacquiao, it happened to Floyd, it happened to Sugar Ray Leonard, where you got to a certain level where now you're picking who you want to fight. Now you're the boss, and people don't like that. You're not the come up anymore. People love the come up, the I can relate to you. You're my guy. Now that Canelo's at a certain level, even Raza's like, whoa, hey, you're big timing me now.
Because he's
yeah.
I knew Canelo lost the audience when I saw Ryan Clark of ESPN, who's more of an MMA guy, but he was talking about boxing.
Mm-hmm.
Even he mentioned that Canelo isn't fighting Benavidez.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, so even mainstream knows, or mainstream's thought process is that's where Canelo needs to do something. And we'll see in 2 weeks, right? He's fighting in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you hear De La Hoya say Canelo's going to lose?
Yeah.
Did he say that? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Canelo's gonna lose. He's not gonna lose. Canelo's one of these fighters that you live long enough to become the villain. And I think that's what is happening with this career right now, is because he's been so good for so long, he's become the villain, and it's soured on a lot of other boxing fans here. It's like, oh, you're not taking those big fights that boxing fans really want to watch. So they're
it's just one fight.
But boxing fans are trying to see his record, dude. You look at his record and the quality of fighter that he's fought recently. It's in Canelo's favor. It's not so much that he's gonna fight and put on a show for the fan. He's putting on a fight because he has to. In order to retain your belt, you got to fight every so often. And that's what Canelo's doing. Hate him or love him, he's doing exactly what he needs to do to retain his belts, But in the eyes of the boxing world, they're like, hey, we want you to take this guy in his prime, because we want to see what you all can do going head to head,
Yeah, but I'm telling you, man, and I might be in the minority here, but I think people are being really way harsh on Canelo, man. Like I really
do too.
Because you got to look at his record and resume, man. He's fought again. Listen, there's always going to be somebody. There's always going to be some contender coming up that hey, why don't you fight him? Why don't you fight him? Canelo, look at his resume, man. Going all the way back to the Cottos and all. He's fought everybody, man. That was put in front of him, bro. He really has. So and I like Dave Benavidez, man. I really do. And I think they will fight in September. To be perfectly honest with you, I think Canelo's going to do his big fight with Munguia for an all-Mexican showdown, which Munguia is a capable fighter, man. Munguia's it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. But I do think he will fight Benavidez in September. I think this is some like mind games, contract games, and money games, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. Now, if he doesn't fight him, I will have a little bit of like, he should have fought him, but I don't think it's the way people are making it sound like it's going to tarnish his whole career and all that kind of stuff. Because here's the thing, like most people don't even know who Dave Benavidez was not too long ago. Again, this is another media creation of like everyone's saying that he's ducking Dave Benavidez. I guarantee you, a lot of these people who are talking about Dave Benavidez don't even know who he is. I never even seen him before. And Dave Benavidez is a great fighter, a very accomplished fighter, but if Canelo beats David Benavidez, it's going to be like, oh, well, yeah, it was just David Benavidez. So there's always going to be a carrot dangling in front of a fighter chasing. There's always going to, not every fighter, I guarantee, every fighter probably has somebody where a fan base said, hey, why didn't you ever fight so-and-so? Oscar De La Hoya, why didn't you ever fight Kasha Zhu? Why didn't you ever fight so-and-so? But it's like, you're holding him against that one he haven't fought them, but look at his whole resume coming up, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's like I said, man. It's just Canelo's just been around for so long, been great for so long that now he's becoming the villain. You look at Canelo and you look at Mayweather, and in my opinion, they're both one of the best defensive fighters that I've ever seen. You know, Canelo, his defense is on point, dude. He's great at always having that defensive game on point, and he's very methodical in what he does. He's always good at setting that fighter up, whoever's in front of him, for exactly what he wants to do. You know, he wants to go ahead and pull a combo off, get him with the body shot, rock him, you know, when they leave a little opening or they make a mistake, and he comes up with that overhand right. That's his favorite punch. That overhand right, boom, puts them on their ass, you know, because he's got that power, though. You know, they go ahead.
It's his power that gets him.
With Canelo, it's the power, because if you're going to go ahead and be on your guard, you're trying to go ahead and stay away and not get him, let him get that little jab at you or what have you, and you keep your body exposed. Once you start taking those body shots, then what are you going to do? You're going to try to get in closer, you know, to try to go ahead and get in the jab. And then you're going to get in trouble with Canelo, because he's a very orthodox boxer in regards to that. His boxing strategy is next to none, you know, and I think that's what a lot of people hate about him, is that when you watch a Canelo fight, they're like, well, this is an exciting fight for me. But if you're a boxing purist, it is an exciting fight for you, because you're seeing a master at work, you know. So I see the disparity between the casuals and the diehards. You know, that's where you get to see who really is a steward of boxing, and who's kind of just, oh, well, this is a boring fight. You get what I'm saying, right, Rick?
Yeah.
No, I do, and I just think it's ironic that it's almost like Floyd, I'm like the Canelo fans, you know, hated Floyd, and when Floyd fought Canelo back in 2012 or 2013, you know, I was a Floyd guy. Dyer knows this. I had the TNT shirts on. I was about to get disowned by my raza, you know, rocking TNT versus a Canelo fight, you know, and all that. And I won money off of my own raza. Sorry, you know, when Floyd fought Canelo, you know, hey, but it's just ironic to me that now he's being kind of painted in that mold, and I think it's unfair. I really think it's unfair.
It really is, and it's just one fight. Like I said, I thought it was just boxing purists that were kind of at him about Benavidez. But when I saw one of the biggest names on ESPN bring it up in casual discussion, I was like, oh, okay, so he's kind of lost, or that narrative has grown to the casuals. Like Ryan Clark, he's an MMA guy. So even for him to mention it, I was like, oh, so this narrative isn't just like boxing circles. It's mainstream.
But again, that's the interesting facet of like the world we live in today, because if Ryan Clark, if Stephen A. Smith, or if somebody's on airwaves saying, well, Canelo is dodging David Benavidez, blah blah blah, it's gospel now. It's gospel. It has to be gospel, because it's being talked about on First Take, and it's being talked about whatever. You know, so. You know, I don't know. It's just interesting.
And good, and you know what? Good for Benavidez, because
absolutely. Oh no, great for Benavidez. Because I mean, he
to your point, they couldn't point him out. If Benavidez walked past ESPN studio, none of them would know who he is.
They wouldn't know.
Right. Exactly. So good for him. Yeah, exactly. I think they will fight in September. I would give Benavidez a shot at beating Canelo. I mean, I think if anybody can beat Canelo, David Benavidez is young, he's strong, he's big. He doesn't have the resume that Canelo does, though. So you know what I mean? He's lately. True. He beat Caleb Plant. I mean, he beat Bubo Andrade. I mean, he's beaten the fighters that are really good fighters that are in front of him. So I think David Benavidez definitely deserves a shot. And I think he is. He could beat Canelo. I'm still not 100% so that he will beat Canelo, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not ready to like make the pick right now. I mean, I guess if I had to make a pick right now, I would say I give Canelo an edge still. But Benavidez is tough, man. I mean, the dude is young, strong, hard, and tough. But we'll see. You know, we'll see.
So let's go ahead.
I'm sorry, real quick. I think the style that beats Canelo is the Bevo. The boxing and the jabbing and the moving, and so to me, I think the style that beats Canelo is a Floyd, is a slick, pure boxer, and Benavidez is not that. He's a come forward brawler. So we've seen every come forward brawler get exposed by Canelo.
It'd be fun. Now, it'd be a lot of fun.
It would be fun. No. Now this dude is young. He's strong. He might be able to outwill him. Canelo's lost a little step, so this is like might be the right time that Benavides is catching him, but I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Like it would be kind of funny if like after all this noise, Canelo just like dominates Benavides and beats him, and then everyone's gonna be like, "What happened? I thought you said you see what I'm saying?" Like
the narrative will be Canelo's back. I'm like, he never left.
Yeah, no, the funny thing, the narrative would be like, "Oh, David Benavides was nobody." That's what the narrative is gonna be, which is
like Haney,
hilarious.
right?
But yeah, exactly. Oh, he's a bum,
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and move on and start talking about the NBA playoffs next. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to our boy, Chris Leja of MCS General Contracting. MCS General Contracting, more than 30 years of combined experience in concrete placement. They are the best in the business, honest pricing, high quality work. They get going on house foundations, driveways, concrete patio decks. If you want to extend the deck, extend the driveway. If you're a business and you need to put together a slab, a parking lot, or other concrete placement services or sidewalks, reach out to MCS General Contracting at 210-774-9155. They're confident in their skills, so give Chris Leja over at MCS General Contracting a call at 210-774-9155. And thank you for being a sponsor of this show. All right, so over the weekend, the NBA playoffs, they started kicking off here. And we had some, I guess, the first round come to an end, not gonna come to an end, but for the weekend over Saturday and Sunday, we had the Magic and Cavaliers. Cavaliers beat the Magic 97-83. Cleveland leads that series 1-0. And this one was exciting to me. The Timberwolves and the Suns. I wanted to see this matchup. Timberwolves, they handedly beat it. They beat the Suns by his final score of 120-95. Minnesota leads that 1-0. And another good game that I was interested in looking at was the Sixers and the Knicks. I thought the Sixers would actually surprise the Knicks, but the Knicks handled business. Knicks went ahead and bested the Sixers by a final score of 111-104. The Knicks lead that series 1-0. Another one that was exciting to watch, Nuggets and Lakers, man. I thought that the Lakers would probably put on a better showing than they did, but the Nuggets, they went ahead and they beat the Lakers. The Lakers kind of had the lead for a little bit there, but the Nuggets came back and showed why they're the defending world champs. As the final score is 114-103, the Nuggets lead that series against the Lakers 1-0. Then we had the Celtics and the Heat. This one, I didn't give the Heat a chance, but they kind of hung in there a little bit. But the Celtics, they went ahead and beat them by a final score of 114-94. Celtics lead that series 1-0. And this one got ugly quick, dude. The Clippers against the Mavericks, man. The Mavericks just started the game ice cold for that first half. And basically, they just could not overcome the deficit at the end. They made a little run in the fourth quarter, but it was just too much to overcome. Clippers get that win over the Mavericks by a final score of 109-97, and they lead the series 1-0. And we had the Pacers and the Bucks go at it. And the Bucks, they did what they had to do, and they beat the Pacers 109-94. Milwaukee leads that series 1-0. And then we had the Thunder and Pelicans. This one was a thriller, man. I enjoyed watching this game. A lot of lead changes. Both these teams were going at it. The Thunder finally pulled away in the final seconds, and CJ McCollum had a last-second three-pointer that went in and out that could have won the game. That would have been a really big clutch play there. But the Thunder survived. They beat the Pelicans 94-92, and they lead that series 1-0. Any of these games, did you all see any of these games? Any of these games stood out at you, were exciting to you guys?
I did watch a few of them. The one thing that stands out when you brought up all the scores and the teams, it really feels like the Curry LeBron era is officially over. Like I know LeBron's still in there, but he's not going to be in the playoffs long. It really feels like we moved on. And I was going to ask you guys, do you prefer a wide open field like we have with multiple teams could win it all? Or do you prefer kind of a dynasty mode where the Warriors, you're watching greatness, or LeBron? Do you like it better like this, or do you miss there being a dynasty in progress?
The dynasty narrative was kind of interesting to watch because, everybody wanted to see a dynasty crumble. They wanted to see a team go out there and beat them. And every time you had a dynasty, you had these super teams, they were always hard to beat because they had just too much talent, and the other teams could not compete with that talent. So what would happen? The dynasties keep on winning. Right now, what you're seeing with, especially like, the Golden State Warriors, which are not in the in the playoffs, is that they're starting to have their superstars age out. But now you're starting to see the come up here of the younger generation of player in the Minnesota Timberwolves in one OKC.
Yeah, that's what stands out to me
Yeah.
is all these young teams, and not young. I mean, they're seasoned, but it's a new era for the NBA. I don't know how long it'll last. The one that stood out besides the whole era thing is the Timberwolves are very quietly really good. I know
They're
it's only
good
one game,
defensively, man.
but you don't hear about them like you do, Jokic and the Nuggets and
Yeah.
Giannis and the Bucks and the Celtics. The Wolves are a team that could very quietly win this whole thing.
The Wolves, I think, are going to make
That
some
stands out.
waves here because the Wolves are a very good defensive team. But another team that kind of surprising me as well is OKC. OKC is a very well coached team that has a good defensive game to them. They can go ahead and get those stops when they need to. And that makes them dangerous. But again, this Pelicans team is scrappy, dude. They're a scrappy team, dude. They play deep. They play really good defense as well. And they held the Thunder to their lowest point total thus far, at 90.
Yeah, they did crack 100.
Yeah, they didn't even crack the century mark. So this was a good defensive game by the Pelicans and the Thunder. Any game stood out at you? I don't know if you saw anything.
Well, back to Dyer's point. I mean, unless it's the Spurs winning, I like the parody of like you don't know who's gonna win. You know what I mean? I do like the way that even in the NFL, like it's just after a while it gets tiring, man. Like so it's pretty fun when you're like, man, this team could win, that team could win. The team's winning back to back or every other year or whatever. Like I said, unless it's the Spurs, I'm not a fan of it. I got it, you won.
Okay.
But that's just me. You know what I mean? So I do like kind of where it is the way it is now, where there are teams like Minnesota who haven't been in it since the Garnett days, or whatever, are kind of. I think it's fun for their fans, right? Like I can appreciate any other fan, like I really can. So I think it's a fun thing for like people in Minnesota who probably haven't been this excited since Kevin Garnett, right? I mean, it's like white noise to me right now. Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh, I'm gonna watch these playoff games. That's just me. My son had an AAU tournament this weekend, so like I was bouncing around, but it was on like in the background. So like I was watching and I would check it out. And my sons, Dyer knows this, are like hardcore basketball fans, not just Spurs fans. So my boys are like, oh, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna watch all the games, and they're locked in and they're watching it. So that they're doing that, which is cool. It's a little more white noise for me, to be honest. I'm just saying, like I'm just like, like I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch, but I'm not gonna get invested, honestly. Like I'm just not. But as the rounds go on, though, it's gonna be interesting to see some of these teams. I'm interested to see the teams that hadn't been there before or haven't been there recently, like OKC, Minnesota. Like, can they make it? Like, can they sustain it? Right? Because a lot of times we see these teams, Kings. Not too long ago, were supposed to be, they blasted on the scene last year, right? Everybody was like, "Oh my God, the Kings!" And they fizzled out. They didn't even they got knocked out in the play-in this year. See what I'm so? Going back to these conversations that we have on Spurs Twitter and everything, there's a finite window, man. I mean, like it seems like the Warriors dynasty is quote unquote over, and it seems like they've been on top forever. It really was 4 or 5 years, which in the grand scheme of things isn't that much. Like it really isn't. In the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that. It seems like forever, but so. It's difficult to win championships. It's difficult to compete every year. It's difficult to make the playoff deep runs. I mean, so it's very difficult. So, sometimes these teams come and they're young and they haven't been playoff tested. And that's where the teams like, that's why people still give the Lakers a shot, because you still got LeBron, even though they're on their last legs, they have that championship pedigree. They have that, like some of that moxie that you get coming into the playoffs and says, hey, I've been here before. I'm not going to be in all of the moment, but I do like to see the teams like Minnesota who haven't really won, and their fans are excited. Edwards, they've never won. They've rarely made deep runs of the playoffs. Like I said, the Garnett days, but their fans are excited. Anthony Edwards looks like he's fun to watch, and exciting young stars emerge, so.
Yeah, man. The one thing is, I was watching this Clippers team play, man, and this Clippers team, they got a lot of weapons, dude. In fact, they got a lot of weapons in spite of Kawhi not playing. Him being out.
Yeah.
I mean, they still got those weapons that can deliver to you, man. And
Yeah, man. No, I think
You're-
my man Norman Powell got hosed on a 6 Man of the Year finalist, man. Because I tell you, man, Norman's been balling, man. He's been playing really well for the Clippers, and like you got all the Clipper stars, and Norman's just been in the background, man, hitting, and doing his thing. But yeah, no. I mean, Clippers tale as old as time. Health is not on their side with Kawhi, but they still got weapons, like you said.
Yeah, man, they still do. So it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen and which teams move forward. And it's going to be really good come the second round. You're going to have some really good matchups there, and it's just going to get tougher here on out.
I feel like though the West is just like a dogfight and killing each other.
It is, man.
And like the East, I'm not trying to disrespect the East, but it's like some of those teams, Boston, whoever, look like they're gonna cruise, while the West is just beating each other up, man. It used to be that way.
If it stays Dame time, it's gonna be tough for the Celtics to get out of that with Giannis and Dame. Right, he went out for 35 in the first half.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which that's we got to talk about that for a second. 35 points in the first half. That's insane.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
But Dame had to do his thing because they didn't have Giannis. He's injured right now. So, the
injuries is going to play a big role in this title run for anybody because Embiid's hurt, Zion's hurt. Yeah, you mentioned Giannis, Kawhi. There's a lot of stars that are missing time in the playoffs. It's almost like
tough.
It's almost like the deepest team's going to win this year. Maybe not the best, but the deepest, healthiest team.
Right.
Yeah. So one of the things we're going to do too is we're going to go in transition. We're going to talk a little bit about the San Antonio Spurs because I know everybody here is a big time Spurs fan. So there is some news. But before we start getting into the talk with the Spurs, because I am going to go ahead and give a quick shout out here to my boy, the one and only Jefe, Jeff Garcia. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at Jeff G Ken's 5 SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@Locked On Spurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right, so what Jeff Garcia went ahead and put out here, and you can go follow Jeff again at Jeff G Spurs Zone on the X. He says, no surprise, Spurs fans. He goes, Wembanyama was named a finalist for NBA Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. I know it's not a shocker to us, but I'm sure that some of the other fans across the league don't think very much of Wemby when it comes to his defensive presence out there, especially the haters, like the Rockets fan base out there that are always wishing like something will happen to Wemby or wishing injury on him, as we saw in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Y'all remember, man, all the payaso tweets that they were sending out there. But nonetheless, Victor Wembanyama, again, he's a finalist for Rookie of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. As far as the voting is concerned, from what I was seeing on the X, Victor Wembanyama might be the player that runs away with a unanimous vote when they're voting right now. As far as for Rookie of the Year, everybody down the line,
he's winning it.
He's winning.
He has to, he's winning that, bro. Come on, man. I don't think that's even a discussion, man.
No, but I'm saying that the thing that is surprising to me is that everybody is voting for Wemby. I didn't see any votes come out for Chet. Not yet. I'm not saying that we might not have one or two of the media or whoever's voting vote for Chet, but I'm seeing that it's almost a unanimous decision that Wemby is going to be Rookie of the Year, no doubt, man. And if that happens, the last time that happened was with David Robinson, I believe, when he won the Rookie of the Year for the San Antonio Spurs. So it'd be cool to see Wemby just get that unanimous vote as well. Because
who got a vote? Hold on. Who got a vote when Duncan was a rookie? Like, who else got a first place vote?
Man. Somebody probably voted for whoever that is. They need to just turn in your media credentials, man. Come on.
Who did Osha Tag get a vote or somebody or what? Or who got
Van Horn?
I don't even know who we have.
Don't even remember, but I remember the voting was almost unanimous for Duncan. You had like one or two people vote for somebody else. That was dumb, but this year is different.
Chet will get at least one or two votes just because of the record. Only because his team First of all, Chet's not even a rookie, but we'll get past that.
That's a good
Because
point.
his team is the first seed, there's gonna be somebody that gives him a vote. I really don't know if it's unanimous. But Wemby running away with it, it's because Wemby took his soul in that nationally televised game when he blocked his shot. Like that was the moment. That's because there's voters that don't watch.
That
A
was
lot
the
of
old
voters,
shit moment,
yeah, that's what he took his soul. He took his soul and he took the award at that point. It's a no-brainer since then. The Defensive Player of the Year award, it's going to upset me more than it should because
Yeah.
he's not going to win it, but he's the best defensive player in basketball,
Yeah. And shout out
and
to
that came
Ernie
by the board.
Johnson, man. Ernie Johnson from
Yeah,
TNT
Yeah.
voted for Wemby.
Yeah.
Ernie Johnson knows ball. The
Yeah.
other guys, man,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
dude.
you got Ernie Johnson, you got EJ, you got Broussard, you got a handful of people that are voting Wemby,
I
right?
think
So
Nick Wright too, right?
yeah, and I agree with Dyer. I mean, obviously we love the Spurs and all that, and I'm not trying to look at it from Spurs lenses or whatever you want to call it. I don't think he's going to win because of the politics that are involved and because of all that kind of stuff. But I still think being a rookie and getting votes for Defensive Player of the Year is pretty amazing. Like just even being a discussion and being a hey, maybe,
Being the best
you know,
defensive player in basketball is crazy. As a rookie,
yeah, he
he's
is the best defensive player.
He's the best.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, and again, this is all subjective, like you said. Some are going to look at this record, which, hey, it's supposed to be an individual award, but people are going
Yeah.
to look at the records and all this kind of stuff. It's there's all these facets and all this stuff going on, but he is the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah, he
It's
is.
media people that are voting. If players were voting, maybe things would be different. I mean, again, this goes back to we're putting stock into what media people have to say.
Look at what the players have to say about one Rudy Gobert. He's voted the most overrated player, and I had retweeted this by a long shot.
Hey,
Gobert-
Trey Young's pretty close up there too.
Yeah, Trae Young too. But the thing is with Rudy Gobert is that Rudy Gobert, the way that the media is voting, it's not the way that the outcome should be decided, in my opinion. You do have people that vote, but you're just letting people like Perkins vote, like DJ Redick vote. Like, I'm like, okay, man. And they're all voting unanimously for Rudy Gobert. The disparity in the voting is ridiculous, man.
I'll give a
Yeah.
shout out to the Ringer. I think the Ringer has 3 votes, and 2 of them did give it to Wemby.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
kudos to the
Yeah.
Ringer, man. Because I mean, look at Wemby and what he's been able to do as far as his defensive presence out there when he's in the game versus when he's out of the game. And he's doing it on a team that had a losing record. I know that Rudy Gobert is doing it on a team that has a better record than the San Antonio Spurs. But Rudy Gobert, to his credit, he's surrounded by a better plethora of talent that also helps him as well.
Yeah.
When Wemby's in the game, you've even seen a lot of the other opposing players gone on record and said, "Hey, man, this kid, when he's in the game, dude, he forces you to change your shot."
Mhm.
Kyrie doesn't give a lot of love to players, but he gave love to Wemby. He gave him his roses, and he's like, "Hey, man, he made me change my shot a lot when I was trying to do something. He made me have to adjust because you can't beat that length, So a lot of other players in the league are saying that Wemby is going to be one of these special players, a special talent in the league, not only offensively but defensively, and we're starting to see the start of that in just the rookie season, which is amazing to me.
Yeah.
So
This is as bad as he's going to play.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And
Wemby this is the worst we're ever going to see him.
Impact. Wemby has had a great impact on the game thus far, and it's just his rookie season. So, I just feel like he's just not getting his roses when it comes to the votes, when it comes to being named Defensive Player of the Year.
And
it is what it is.
I hate about this mindset is a lot of those voters are going to tell themselves, well, he's a rookie. He'll get one or he'll get,
Right.
Yeah.
Which is not a good way to vote. You vote for whoever, but we could, move on. I just think he's the best defensive player in basketball. And to be honest, he's probably going to be the best defensive player in basketball for the next 10 years.
Look at what Jesse A says. Defensive Player of the Year, not Defensive Team of the Year.
Yeah, I agree.
I
agree completely.
Excuse me.
Look at what it says. Only at 15%. A la verga, I say, wait till he's at 50. Yeah, bless you, Rick.
Thank you. Sure. Excuse me.
So, Yeah, we're just
Yeah,
talking
no.
Wemby, but the one thing that we're going to talk about next right now is we're going to also talk about a fan favorite here that they want to pair alongside Wemby. So I'm going to share this that I just saw here on Bleacher Report on Insta. And it's an excerpt from Trae Young, and he says, "I want to be here." He wants to play for the Hawks, but I also want to win. Trae Young on if he wants to return to the Hawks next season. Word is on the street that the Hawks are looking to go ahead and trade one Trae Young in this offseason. And here's another, excerpt that I saw here on the X. I went ahead and going to show you this from NBA Central. It says around the NBA, there's an expectation that the Hawks will trade Young this summer, per Basketball Talk. And I've heard a lot of things about this, and it says that early on, the odds-on favorite to go ahead and sign Trae Young is not the San Antonio Spurs, but the Los Angeles Lakers, as they have an aging LeBron James. Maybe they're going to do something to go ahead and bring Trae to LA. If Trae wants to go ahead and play alongside AD, this is something that could happen if both sides can come to terms. More than likely, you would have to have another team in the mix to go ahead and make the numbers work. But I know that I, for one, would welcome Trae to play alongside Wemby. I thought that would be cool, but I know the asking price is quite high. What do you guys think, as far as what he said there? He still wants to be in Atlanta, but he also wants to win.
Wants to win.
I mean,
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now. He said he wants to win. And right now, the Spurs aren't in position to win. Like, let's be real. So if he doesn't come to San Antonio, I don't want half of Twitter going off on, and I'm not a big Brian Wright guy, but if Trey's mindset is, I want to go to a contender, which is kind of what that implies, I'm sure the Spurs will do their due diligence. I'm sure they'll make an offer. I think they'll make an offer. But if Trey wants to go to a contender, I don't know if this is the place yet. We would have to have a big offseason of free agency to make ourselves appealing to someone that wants to win now, right? We're kind of a team on the rise. We're a team that is, in the process. We're still very far from the process. You know what I mean? So it sounds like he would avoid us only because of that win now comment. But if we don't land him and he does go to the LA, I can already see half of Spurs Twitter upset at our front office. But just go in knowing that his mindset is he wants to go to a contender.
He wants to win. He wants to win now.
Wins
Yeah, I
hands
know.
down.
I know. Rick has something to say about this. What's your opinion?
Well, no, I mean, I think, again, it goes back to asking price, and like
Yeah.
Dyer kind of hit on it and you hit on it. I mean, I like Trae Young. I mean, I do. I think he would be an amazing addition to this team. Him and Wemby would be fun. I'm not going to sit here and say he's like the savior, like the end all be all savior of this team kind of thing, Definitely any star of Trae Young's caliber would definitely be welcome to San Antonio. But yeah, there's so many nuances, and that's something we talk about all the time too. And again, people are on Spurs Twitter, and everybody's a GM, and everybody knows how to run a multi-million-dollar organization from their couch. Like everybody knows how it's supposed to be done. There's so many nuances. I agree with Dyer as far as like if he's saying he wants to win now. I mean, the Spurs may be a year or two out. If he means I want to win now, as in the next 3 years or 2 years, again, I guess words matter, right? Like, what does he mean? Like you said, if he's saying I want to, it sounds like he's saying I want to go to a contender. Like I want to go to somebody who's like on the cusp of winning already, right? So the teams that are in the playoffs right now, those are some of the teams he must be looking at, right? You would think, right? But that's not to say, like you said, if we get if the Spurs get a good draft, another piece in the offseason, and they jump into at least playoff play-in stat, they could, So I guess it depends on what all he wants. I mean, there's so many things floating around. I think with Wemby being in San Antonio, most players are at least gonna have a thought to play with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, so we've already seen Clay, is a favorite to come here. Chris Paul, like Steph, like Curry, yeah. So we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that all summer, right? We're gonna say, everybody. And I'm not saying it's not valid because, like I said, when you have a generational talent like Wemby, there's no player that would say, I don't want to play with that guy. Like, I mean, so I'm sure players want to play with him, and he made a mention that people were reaching out to him. I don't know if he meant the French rookies or he didn't say. Who knows? But You know, and the Trae Young thing has been being talked about for a while. Like we've heard this name a lot for San Antonio. They even start talking about DeJounte, right? And there's, I mean, who
The
knows, man?
DeJounte
You
one's
know,
interesting.
yeah.
What makes DeJounte interesting is he made mention last week that he talks to Pop still.
Yeah.
I think he mentioned that Pop texted him,
Yeah.
joking with him about taking so many
Sure.
shots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
relationship there. I know a lot of fans don't want to hear that because, the divorce, it wasn't a messy divorce, but people don't like running it back, and I get it. But I would keep a little bit of an eye on that, only because
Mhm.
he clearly talks to Pop. He
Yeah.
said he does. So that's not nothing. And
Right.
I think what'll dictate the Spurs more than we're letting on is if they land Toronto's pick.
Yeah.
Because if they
Yeah.
have two top 10 picks in the draft, they
Yeah.
might say, you know what, let's see what we do here first.
Yeah.
Right.
But if
Yeah.
it's only one pick, they might also say, oh, we need to go add to the roster because we're only getting one player. And I know Toronto's pick would roll over to next season, but it's also top six protected next year. So then it roll like you're kicking
Yeah.
the can down the road. They might say, we better add a little bit more than just one player.
Yeah, and there's a comment here from David Atwater watching us on YouTube. Thanks for watching, man. He says Wemby has had phone calls with players that want to come, and this is true too. I saw the
Yeah,
tweet on X. And they had said that, hey, Wemby's been getting
but
interest.
like Richard said, we don't know if it's because I mean, there's two top Frenchmen that are going to be in the draft.
True
I
that.
don't know if it's them. I don't know why I got balloons, but we don't know who. We don't
Today's
know who
not
he's
your
talking
birthday.
about. Yeah, I don't know.
Today's not your birthday.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks. Comment is it was that comment of the day? But yeah, we don't know. I would assume the two Frenchmen, especially Risa Sher, who played with them, I'm sure they talk.
Yeah.
And the Spurs are going to have maybe a top 3 pick. We're in the lottery. We might have the number 1 again. So I'm sure those are two of the guys that have reached out. As far as veterans that are already in the league, I would have liked if Kevin O'Connor had asked them that. Like, do you mean prospects or do you mean players now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, San Antonio will be a destination. Will it be Trae Young's destination of choice? We don't know. I think there's going to be a wild card. There's always someone in the offseason that says, I want to be traded. So the future Spur that we trade for might not even be a rumor yet.
Yeah. So
someone's going to lose in the playoffs. Someone's going to lose in the playoffs, and they're going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, we're not even out of the first round. I don't want to be here.
Yeah. So I was going to say, let's go ahead and transition here since we're coming against the 45-minute mark or the 45-minute hour here, the 45-minute hour. So I'm going to go ahead and give some love here to our local teams, man. The San Antonio Brahmas won over the weekend. Yeah. They improved to 3-1 as they went ahead and got the win over the Michigan Panthers here, 19-9. We want to give some love to the San Antonio Gunslingers, man, another local team here. They went ahead and got their first win of the season, 60-36 over Tucson there. And another thing that happened is that the San Antonio FC, San Antonio FC got a win 3-1 over the Hartford Athletics. So what does that mean? It means that San Antonio FC right now is 4th in the USL Championship Western Conference. Right now, they have a record of 7-3. They're right there in the hunt, with the leading the division right now in Sacramento. San Antonio FC has 12 points right now. They're only 3 points out of being in the top spot. So they're very much in striking distance and right where they want to be. So give some love there to our local teams. And another thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give some love to the San Antonio Missions, man. San Antonio Missions right now, they have a record of 8-7, and they're going to wind up coming up against another tough series here against Wichita, which is going to be a 6-game series. One of the things that stands out at me this week, Rick, man, if you were in town, I'd be like, hey, man, on Friday, let's go ahead and check out this Missions game because they're going to have Fiesta jersey giveaways for the first 2,000 fans that go out there to watch the game. Watching the Missions game is always a good time, man.
Everybody that'd be cool. That'd be fun. Yeah, man. No, man. I'll tell you, man. Those. I'll be honest. I haven't made it out to a Brahmas game. I need to. But those are all fun, man. Those are all fun, man. The missions is fun. I haven't been on missions in a while. As a kid, I would go to missions a lot. But the SAFC is fun. I have been to SAFC since I've been there. Steph
is.
loves SAFC.
Hanging out
I'm
with the
telling you, man.
Mitchells.
That yeah, man. I'm telling you, man. The bunker is wild, right? It's like standing room only. It's almost like the fan zone, right? Like it's standing room only, right behind the goal. They got the
Rowdy,
drums, they got the flags, they got the Rowdies, they got the Necios, they got the Crocketeers, they got all the Alliance, like all the soccer Necios, man. And they're fun, man. Those cats are fun to be around. And the Alamo City Brewing, they do a really good tailgate before where all they take is donations, and they got beer, they got food, music, piñata for the kids. Like it's a good time, man. So big shout out to SAFC. If you haven't been out there, man, and it's affordable. Like it's family affordable. You could take it doesn't break the bank.
The stadium's
And there's
nice.
not. The stadium's nice. It's fun, man. The SAFC is definitely a fun time. It's definitely a good time.
Man, the organization's kind of taking the fun out of things a little bit. Like in the past, they weren't charging for parking when you go to the tailgates, right?
Oh,
yeah, true. Yeah,
go in there, man, have a lot of fun. Now they're starting to put some rules into effect, you know.
Yeah.
To pay for parking, but hey, it is what it is. It's still a fun time. Go out there. It's not going to stop me from wanting to go out there and hang out with the Rowdies, you know. But if you're going to go to the tailgates, man, they're not charging anybody to hang out with them. They do accept donations, man. If you're going to be getting beer, if you're going to be getting the food, man, at least go and drop a 20. We'll drop a 20 at least.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, for sure.
More than $20 or $40 worth of food there and drink. Yeah. And there are a lot of good people that benefit.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And they got like tacos. Like it's not just some.
Down,
they got food, bro. They got they are down there throwing down. And like I said, the Alamo beer. You got the beer there. It's fun, man. It's a good time. Everybody's friendly. Time. It's a really good time. I've never had an issue with anybody there. I like I said, admittedly, I hadn't really been involved in that a lot. I'm not particularly a soccer guy, to be totally honest with you. But Steph loves the SAFC, and she was already kind of ingrained in some of the fandom there. So I kind of like jumped in as an outsider, and they all embraced me, man. They're all, it's Spurnandez, like, so they, so I like, they're amazing, man. They're amazing people, man. So like now I'm like I said, man, I'm admittedly not going to pretend that I'm some soccer guy, because I'm not, but it's fun, man. I get the Trinidad, the scarf. I'm out there drinking, having a good time. It's a good time, man. So you don't even have to be a soccer fan to go out there and have a good time. They have their chants, it's fun. It's really good time,
And they're good. They're a good
team.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah.
They're a real good team. They're a good organization.
Go and hang out with the Rowdies, dude. They just, again, man, they're right across the street from the stadium, right under the bridge. That's where all the supporter groups hang out. Go out and support them, support the team, have fun. It's a great time. You know me, man. I'm going to go out there, and I'm not necessarily going to make it to my seats because I like to go and watch the whole thing. I'm going to go to the cancha, go and watch the field and all that. But I'm going to hang out at the outdoor bar, man. That's my jam right there. Sipping on something, talking.
I'm telling you, right there at that bunker, man. There's the bar right there. They got the bar, they got the bunker. I mean, it's a good time, man. But yeah, I'm
in between La Gloria, dude. I have to be near my spot, man. That's where I go to get my little food, drink, and everything in that area. I hang out there.
Wired. He's got that place wired.
Yeah, man. I gotta get everything there, and I like hanging out with the Necios too. So I'll eventually, start trying to make my way down there. Give love to everybody. But every time I go to a SAFC game, I always wind up meeting people, man, talking with the hand, people that watch the show, or people I haven't met seen in a while. Cool. It's always a good time at the SAFC game. So make sure you go down there. And we're actually going to have some Spurs Twitter meetups where we all go out and maybe check out a game. Maybe we'll go check out SAFC, in the low.
They'll have like a Spurs night or something like at the SAFC. Yeah. They did it last year where they had a Spurs. They had like a Spurs themed jersey. City Sissoko was there. Jeremy Sohan was there. The Coyote, like they bring the trophies out. Like, so they do like Spurs nights and stuff. So it's fun. Cool. It's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So one of the things that we're going to talk about real quick here as we start ending the show is the news came out, with the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott talking to the media, saying how things are going between him and Jerry and how they've talked, and Jerry has a plan and he's made it known to Dak already what the direction is going to be with him moving forward with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak didn't really want to go into discussion about that, private talk that he had with Jerry. But, right now they're not really negotiating, so to speak. Jerry's just told Dak what his plans are moving forward. And it kind of seems when Dak is talking to the media that those plans might necessarily mean that they involve Dak Prescott. I think Jerry might be letting him know, hey, man, either we're going to go ahead and try to get you on maybe a friendly or team deal, so we can go ahead and get some more talent. to come along the team. Maybe if we can't work something out, maybe both parties decide to part ways, and it's going to be amicable. We'll see, man. But I'm still hopeful that maybe they'll be able to work out a deal where they can have Dak maybe return and also get some other players and talent to come along and surround Dak, so they can go ahead and still contend for the future. What were your thoughts when you saw the comments, man?
I think to me, for some reason, Jerry Jones has given up on the offseason. He didn't sign any free agents.
Nothing.
He's not extending any of the players on the
But
team.
he's all in. He's all in.
Yeah. What they're putting way too much weight on the draft. Because all the holes in the team now, they lost their center, they lost, Tyrod at left tackle,
Pollard.
They lost Pollard, 2 defensive tackles. They're relying on a lot of draft picks hitting, which is tough.
Yeah.
And they're asleep. And what makes me mad about Jerry is the all-in comment. Turns out he was talking about Arkansas basketball.
There was
an article. It came out that he's been writing checks to get players for Arkansas basketball.
For that NIL deal,
yeah. So he's asleep at the wheel with the Cowboys, but Arkansas basketball is good for them.
It's not just Jerry that's giving money to Arkansas. It's also Tyson Foods, and it's also the people that own Walmart, dude. So
yeah.
Damn.
But Jerry needs to focus on the sport that makes him money.
Yeah.
And again, they might knock it out in the draft. They need to address a lot of holes in the roster. I think after the draft, we'll know where the intent of the Cowboys are.
Yeah.
If they surprise us and take a quarterback, then there might be some merit to the whole life without Dak.
You mean it's not going to be Lance is going to pick up the helm after Dak?
Maybe, but
yeah.
But they haven't done anything.
No.
It feels like they're punting the season away, right?
Meanwhile, the Texans are making some sexy moves, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you have a quarterback on a rookie deal, it frees up so much money. You can do whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
That might be the way to go. But if the Cowboys want to move on from Dak, then trade him now. Get some draft picks.
They'd have to take that's a lot of money they're going to lose if they do that with Dak because they still have to take a bath, and pay him.
But they're taking that bath anyway.
Yeah, true.
If you're not gonna pay him, get something in return.
Don't let him just walk. Yeah.
If you let an all-pro quarterback walk for nothing, that's the dumbest thing you could do. And we can have an argument: is Dak the guy? Is he not the guy? Whatever. But don't let him walk for nothing. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Look
at this comment from our friends over here, Puro Pinche Sports. Jerry will never be all in while their fans keep buying merch and go to games, etc. You're buying that.
I got my Cowboys Fiesta hat.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Texican hat, dude. Shout out to Tex-Mex Frank, dude. I went ahead and bought
cool,
this
man.
Mike Taylor
That
bar.
is nice.
So
yeah, he has Tex-Mex Frank has a lot of good stuff, man.
Yeah,
he's good people too, man. So shout out to you, Tex-Mex Frank. And what about?
I don't know, man. I think the days are numbered with Dak, man. I think, like you said, I think they're gonna let him play this year out. But if they let him walk for nothing, that's gonna be tough, man. That's gonna be really tough. It seems, I think Dak would rather just bet on himself, and then I'm sure he'll get a bag somewhere else. Somebody will pay him. So from his standpoint,
he was second team All-Pro.
I think, At the end of the day, I think he's gonna be fine with it, because somebody is gonna pay him, another team. You seen, guys like Kirk Cousins and et cetera, and get paid. You know what I mean? So Dak will get paid. I mean, he's a star. If he, like you said, is he the guy? Is he not the guy? I mean, obviously he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He hasn't won anything. So, but he's a star, and another team will value him incredibly. I guarantee you that. And like Dyer said, if he walks for nothing, ooh, man, that's going to be tough.
You want to know the worst part about him walking? If he walked for nothing, the Cowboys would still have to pay $40 million next year in cap space. So he would walk for nothing.
Yeah.
He wouldn't be on your roster.
Yeah.
And he's still a $40 million hit on your cap. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's the dumbest. That would be the dumbest move in
the Jerry era
history.
Yeah.
Hey man, so we're gonna
let's
do a close, man, because I'm coming up against it. I gotta start getting ready to log into work. But as we do bringing this to a close right here, man, let's go ahead and start getting where they can follow you guys on social media. John, we'll start with you, man. Where can they follow you on the X?
The X. You're very proper. At Spurs and Salsa.
There you go. Follow my boy John
Yeah.
Dyer, man. He's good gente, man. He's part of the Puro Exit 7 crew. You know, we're all represented today. We got to represent the west side of San Antonio. So go ahead and make sure you go give John a follow on the X. And of course, our boy over here, Rick, aka known as the infamous Spurnandez, alum. You can follow him at the real Spurnandez. Anything you got going on, you know, Twitter wise or X wise, should I say?
I still call it Twitter. I always call it Twitter. So for me, it's always going to be Twitter. I know Joe's a professional, man. He's proper, man. That, you know, yeah, man. No, yeah. Please go ahead and hit me on Real Spurnandez. Hit up my girl Chicana Fuerte, my better half. Yeah, man. You know, again, man, I'm gonna be in town for the Canelo fight. I'll be in town.
Nice.
Cinco de Mayo weekend. So maybe we should round up the crew and get together and do something for that. So I'll definitely be in town. First Friday in May, you know, Steph loves Southtown first Friday. So I'll be out there. Steph's got a lot of stuff going on down in Southtown. Yeah, by all means, man, follow me. Let's do this, man, and get ready for the summer and the summer league and the draft, and you know, we're just gonna keep rolling, man. You know,
gonna keep this truck rolling, dude. But yeah, definitely we'll set up something, man, for the Canelo fight.
Let's do it. Let's do something for a Canelo fight. I'm down. Yeah,
go to bar gimme, or maybe go to Friendly Spot or go to, you know,
something. Yeah.
So you can follow me.
or someone's crib, whatever.
Oh yeah, dude, that too. Hey man, I got the projector in the back, bro.
Yeah. I'll be honest, man. I real quick before I know we're logging on, but just kind of a quick nuance. I'm a fan of like watching fights at like a house. I've never been big on like going out to watch it somewhere because sometimes you can't really hear it, and you know I don't know that I want to be sitting down. I'm gonna watch all the undercards. So I'm gonna be you know if I go over to Dyer's house, man, I'm gonna get my spot on my couch. I'm gonna sit there all day. I'm gonna get my spot and I ain't moving and I'm watching it and I'm getting the commentary. I'm getting all this. You know, you go watch it somewhere at a bar or something. You know,
you put it on. Dude.
It just sometimes I'm a fan of like I like to have it at my. I mean, Dyer and I go way back. We would have fights at our houses as you know as teenagers, right? We were the 2000s, the Vargas De La Hoya days and all that. So having a fight at someone's house is always fun, you know. So either way, but yeah, we'll do something.
Yeah, man. I mean, we can watch it at my house. We got the projector inside as well, and we have the other one for the outside.
There you go.
Watch the undercards in here, and then go and watch the main event outside. You know, so
say less, dog. Let's say less. Let's do it. Yeah, get all Nessus together.
You know, I got a fridge full of beer.
And I know you do. I know you do, bro. We get all the Nessus together.
He was like, "Damn, bro."
Bro, this man has a fridge full of beer and liquor, man. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Dang, Joe.
All right, man. Hey, we'll invite John out here too, man. You got to come out here. Puro Exit 7, dude, in the house. So we're going to go ahead and sign off, man. So for Spurnandez and John Dyer, I'm Joe Garcia. Thank you all so much for watching today's show. We'll see you guys tomorrow. We're out. Peace.
Thank you. Take care.